Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Loyalty Leaders Podcast. I am Phil Rubin, founder and CEO of Gray Space Matters and the chair of Loyalty Summit CXM. And we're here at Loyalty Summit in London 2025 with my friend Gabriele Giancola, which is as good as my Italian accent is going to be, even though you're Swiss. It's great to see you. How are you?
Doing very, very good. Thank you. Happy to be here. Excited about all the talks and yeah.
Speaking of being excited about talks, we should talk about our little session yesterday. Actually, one quick thing, full disclosure, Gabriele and I know each other pretty well. I am an investor in his company, Qiibee. He's the founder and CEO of Qiibee. Just want to be clear about that. More importantly, I moderated a panel yesterday with Gabriele and 4 other people on the intersection of the future of loyalty and technology. And somebody came up to me after. I just want to tell you this really quick. Somebody came up to me after and they said, "You had the biggest grin on your face during that session, and I could see your wheels spinning in your head thinking." And I knew what they were talking about because being the loyalty nerds that we are, it was such a fun discussion and people had some great insights about where things were going. Now that I've biased all of us, tell me what was your take on the discussion?
I think it was an amazing conversation. It was really cool to hear a few different perspectives. It's always, when you come from the tech side, like us, of course, you're more biased towards new technologies, towards more innovation. So you don't think a lot about the internal structures of large corporates and which steps they have to go through basically to actually implement certain innovations. But it was super interesting to hear from the different participants, most from the airlines, that actually talked about how they implement technology, how they see innovation, and so on. And I think it's great to see that there are people that actually want to push forward innovation. And of course, it's then not always up to just them. It's like big teams that decide, that take those decisions. But it's really cool to see that there is the mindset here that we have to move forward. We have to implement new technologies like AI, like blockchain, and like many other things. So I think it was a super exciting conversation. I think also that the audience really liked it, at least from what I was able to see and also what I heard afterwards. So yeah, I think it was a great success.
I was thrilled with the feedback. People were as wound up about it, I think, as we were. Some of the themes, let's talk about some of the themes that came out of that conversation, because I am still kind of excited about it. Time, doing things more real time, connectivity, personalization. Those are all things, so many of the things that came out of that discussion, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because of Qiibee's business, which is different aspects of loyalty functionality, and we'll get into that in a minute, built on blockchain technology. A lot of the things that people were predicting in terms of where things were going led naturally. Yeah. And you were sitting at the end on the stage, and we went sequentially left to right. So when we got to you, it was like, wow, we couldn't have scripted that setup any better.
Yeah, 100%. I was also very happy when I heard a few of the feedbacks. I was like, guys, that's exactly what we work on. So it was really good to see that there is that need for interoperability of loyalty programs, expanding ecosystems, giving just a more smooth experience to members with real-time transactions. Again, nobody likes to wait 48, 72 hours until they get their miles, their points. That goes completely in what we do. So I was super happy about that. It was from the position, it was also perfect. It was at the end, so I was able to listen to all the feedbacks, and then, yeah.
And it was totally unplanned.
100% unplanned.
Which is probably why people said, "Why'd you have that grin on your face?" Because it did kind of naturally go that way. Now that we've sort of set that up, not like maybe a little more intentionally today versus on stage. Why don't you describe for everybody what Qiibee does and a little bit of maybe on how you got there, you and your brother
Yeah.
Gianluca?
So to make it very, very short, what we focus on is on loyalty partnerships. We want to make them 100x more efficient than they're today, so that you have the advantages for large loyalty programs that they can actually onboard much faster new partners where the members can earn, spend, and convert their points. We do that with different pieces of the tech stack, from blockchain-based infrastructure to different integration options to a rewards marketplace that we have where brands can easily access, let's say, each other's ecosystems, and literally with a click they can onboard each other. We automatize the full partnership process, so none of the both need to worry about commercial agreements, legal contracts, accounting, billing, all of the boring stuff, technical integration. We take that over for airlines, for example, like a Miles & More, Etihad Gas, which are our partners. So they literally, with one click, they can onboard a new partner. They decide if they want the partner or not. So it's all in full control of them. And yeah, that's really the main focus is on that. And the goal is really to, again, have ecosystems at scale for these large loyalty programs, but also then enable smaller merchants, smaller loyalty programs to actually be connected with these big players. Because most of the times it's like that due to long integration periods, due to also high minimum volumes and so on, that of course these airlines, frequent flyer programs require, because they put a lot of resource and they put a lot of effort into such partnerships. It's clear that they want to have a certain return on investment, but it's not for everyone. So the whole long tail of merchants is completely out of that game, and that's where we really come in and are able to onboard all of these partners super efficiently. And the cool thing is members benefit at the end of the day too, because they have many more earn and burn options in the program itself. They also have more options of their daily life, which at the end of the day is something crucial for all the parties, because you as a frequent flyer program, you want your members to think every day about you, not only when they fly, when they rent a car, when they go to a big hotel. So that's a huge advantage. And then again, merchants have actually the option to deliver a very valuable currency to their customers, instead of, let's say, building their own loyalty programs where most of the times it's, I don't know, buy 10 coffees and get the 11th one for free, which is good, but it's not the most efficient way how to build actually customer loyalty. So if you give actually a very valuable currency, and I mean, travel is something that everybody loves. Everybody dreams about going to the holiday, getting a business flight upgrade or something like that. So that gives on all the levels a huge amount of value. And how we got there, honestly, first we saw the vision and we thought about blockchain more from a, say, visionary perspective, in the sense that, hey, it makes so much sense to tokenize all these loyalty points, put them on chain, and basically automatize reconciliation, automatize settlements, and improve through that interoperability. At the beginning, very naive in that sense, literally just a vision. And then we started talking with all these players and saw, okay, it's not their first priority to implement blockchain. And what we learned is actually, you don't have to talk about the tech, you have to talk about the value. So today, I don't think that there is one deck from us that you find the word blockchain in there, just because at the end of the day, companies want to either make more money or save money. It's as simple as that. And if you can show them how they can sustainably increase their revenues and on the other side actually decrease costs, that's at the end of the day what they want to see. And that's exactly what we can offer them. And that's why the topic blockchain is in the background. We use blockchain to, again, basically make all these reconciliations automatic and also automatize settlements. But it's a piece of tech, of this whole tech stack at the end of the day. There is so much more that is there. We have, for example, a Shopify plugin that is connected to Miles & More. The fastest integration there of a new partner was 2 hours. So having
2 hours.
Yeah, so basically somebody literally downloaded the plugin on Shopify, and in that moment a request goes automatically to Miles & More. I have to say we were lucky that
they approved it quickly.
The account manager was in his email account. He saw the email, approved it directly, and the plugin was up and running in 2 hours in their in the e-commerce store. So that shows really how much more efficient you can actually onboard a partner, and how you can scale your ecosystem so easily with literally a click of a button.
So let's talk about that and make sure that everybody who's listening and watching, hopefully they're maybe just listening.
It looks so good.
Yeah, exactly. you said it very well, but I think it's worth repeating. It's not about blockchain. It's about how do you drive incremental revenue through new partners. So expanding distribution to create more earning opportunities for members and to become more a part of their lifestyle.
Correct.
Not just episodically when they fly, stay in a
Correct, yeah.
hotel, rent a car, etc. But also help drive that revenue expansion at a low cost, because
100%.
you obviate the need for legal and contracts, and it's basically a and the accounting and reconciliation, which you and I have been part of conversations, especially with global brands doing business in different places, that reconciliation in different currencies from different partners, and how do you do that some way other than manually in Excel, which is prone to mistakes, right? That efficiency allows expanding to maybe smaller partners at much less of an effort, much less resource. So it makes the people more productive
100%.
on the partnership side.
Yeah. It's exactly that at the end of the day. And we see that, I mean, frequent flyer programs are part of airline groups. So they're not tech companies. Of course, they built a certain amount of tech. But if you come externally and you see at the whole, let's say, business model and how they work, as a tech company, you look at it from a completely different angle, and you can actually start building automated systems that make life so much easier on both sides. And that's actually where the value is really provided. So that's also, as I said before, blockchain is one piece of the tech stack, but it's not the whole tech stack. We couldn't go to a frequent flyer program and say, hey, this is our chain, this is the API to the chain, go ahead and do it yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's exactly that beauty of receiving that partnership request as a frequent flyer program, looking quickly at the partner and saying yes or no. That's it. So with a click of a button, you can onboard a new partner. And that's where the beauty comes in. So that's why we've built our dashboard, where you have the marketplace, where you have all the analytics, where you see real time how many miles or points are being earned, burned from which partner, which is my strongest partner, how much revenue did they already generate, how much money did I send them because miles or points have been redeemed there. On the other side, the same thing. The merchant has full transparency on what is happening, how many miles are his customers using, how many miles are they redeeming, or points, again, depending on which loyalty program they're integrated with. So that makes it super easy for both sides and super transparent on actually having those partnerships really at scale. And again, the member profits at the same level as these players, because at the end of the day, they really have more possibilities to earn and spend their points, which at the end of the day pushes the whole liquidity of those points, which for me as a member, if I think about the loyalty currency, it's core. That's where I want to get the biggest value. I want to look, where can I actually earn more points? Where can I spend them? And that's really the core focus. So having a solution that benefits all these three players, that's really where we focus on. And again, the technology itself, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, because it makes up a lot of the efficiencies, right? But at the end of the day, it's not important to the players and to the stakeholders how we get there, but more that we actually get there.
Yeah. And that's the key, right? Getting there faster than otherwise. Or in some cases, they wouldn't get there at all, because in order to go after, let's say, smaller partners, and they just to be clear, the program management approves or does not approve. Partners come into a marketplace, they say they want to be earning partners or redemption partners. Correct. The program still has the yes,
full control.
No.
Correct.
But typically, because of the process, because of the cost, the resources, and the amount of time it takes, some of these smaller partners might not meet a threshold to do business with an airline like Lufthansa.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, if you take and we just, because we were working on a big project, so we made the list of all the clients that we onboarded for example, for a miles and more, and we just cracked this month 100 partners that we onboarded from them in the last 12 months. onboarding 100 partners in 12 months, I don't think that for any frequent flyer program is even thinkable. Because
Maybe it should go in the Guinness Book of World Records.
that's true for the loyalty nerds. No, so that's amazing to see, because I think the real value comes not only from the tech, but actually that we have a team focused on that specific frequent flyer program that acquires the partner. So we scan the market, we know what certain frequent flyer wants, what they don't want, so we can actually scan the market, monitor who makes sense, approach these brands, and then see, hey, are you interested?
So you guys are bringing partners
Correct.
into the
Yeah, yeah.
marketplace.
So we don't wait just until basically somebody registers and says, "Hey, I wanna be onboarded." And the great thing is what we start seeing is also that these frequent flyer programs want to give us certain partners that they say, "Hey, they are valuable for the ecosystem, but it's just too much effort that we have to put
More
in."
cost efficient to have
Correct.
Qiibee manage
So
them.
it's much easier. And it's small things also like the Shopify plugin, and it's stuff like, we see some partners coming to us say, "Hey, we saw that you have a Shopify plugin. I can't integrate the API of that specific frequent flyer program in the checkout process of Shopify, because Shopify anyways blocks that because they don't want that you mess with the checkout process." So those are, small things in the sense that it's a small need, but then at the end of the day, it generates a huge amount of value, because with the click of a button, they can download our Shopify plugin and just be integrated like that, and they don't have to worry about integrating a full API into a new e-commerce system and so on. And that's really cool to see how we can deliver both sides. So we can bring new clients and new merchants, but on the other side, the frequent flyer program can say, you know what, these partners, better if you guys manage them, and they can be integrated through us in a matter of, again, either a few hours on the Shopify side, with the API a few weeks.
And adoption has been, you guys have sort of thus far taken kind of a narrow and deep approach with Lufthansa
Yeah.
and Etihad.
Yes.
Where to next?
At the end of the day, we want to get as many frequent flyer programs on board, and after that, you have hotel programs, you have retail programs. So there is a huge amount of potential out there. We took a very, very, let's say, focused approach. It was a very strategic decision, because instead of going wide, we said, let's go deep.
Yes.
And we actually built really, really attractive business cases now, because we can really show what kind of value we can generate. And these 100 partners were done in the last 12 months. So we're not talking about we took 5 years to onboard and to sign 100 partners. So that shows really how fast we can scale these partner networks and actually generate value for both sides. And the goal is really now to expand with the frequent flyers. And the good thing is we start seeing network effects. So the partners that we onboarded for one frequent flyer, we see that they ask us, "Hey guys, we also have customers that come from the US, we have customers that come from the Middle East, from Asia. Do you also have frequent flyer programs in those regions?" So you can actually start then building business cases without having to acquire new clients from the beginning, because you can go to an airline and you can say, "Look, I already have 50 hotels from Germany, for example, that have thousands of customers that are coming from Singapore, from New York, and so on." And you can start showing the value that you can provide from day one without having to acquire new customers or new clients.
So, that was one of the key things that came up on our panel today, and it came up again in this morning's session, in terms of the sort of mandate, and it's a challenge. Growth, penetration, depending on the region, depending on the country, has slown for a lot of brands, for a lot of carriers. So this is a way to sort of create new
100%.
growth opportunities in a slowing market.
100%, yeah. And I think through partners, like onboarding new partners, you actually have the ability to expand in new markets. But on the other side, you get so much data about the share of wallet. And that's also something that we discussed about yesterday. At the end of the day, of course, a loyalty currency is not like the hard-earned money that I get from my salary, but it still shows to a frequent flyer program what kind of brands do my members actually like. Where do they actually spend their miles? Where do they like to earn their miles? And through that, you start getting a much better understanding of your customers, meaning that you can go also then in the piece of personalization, which we also discussed yesterday, and be much more precise in what offering to your members on a more granular level.
So we're about out of time, but I want to ask one more question.
Go ahead.
of the other areas, so not the ones that were not intentional, but reflected the value proposition of Qiibee, which is not coincidental, by the way. What are the other areas that you think present the most opportunity? And maybe what do you think are the ones that are most complementary to what you guys are doing in the marketplace?
I think that there is, I mean, again, we talked yesterday a lot about AI. So I think next couple of years that will be, have a huge priority, because you can not only be more efficient with automatizing a lot of different processes, but on the other side, you can actually start really crunching all that data on a completely different level. So if you start connecting, expanding ecosystems, so getting more partners on board, understanding better what your members need, and then you add on top AI, which actually makes a much stronger and faster analysis of what is happening, and with that can actually then execute communications to your members with much better accuracy, and at the end of the day driving experience for members. Because getting a newsletter can be either a pain where you say, why didn't I unsubscribe yet? Or on the other side, it can actually be very valuable, because it actually shows you, hey, look, here, here, and here, you can earn more miles, you can burn more miles, and that's exactly what you need. So I think that's where we in general, we have to go as brands. And that's, I think, where the most investment will come in. Also, we see it on our side. I mean, we're working on different AI topics where we see, for example, I'm working on that specifically right now, an AI loyalty manager for smaller merchants. Because one of the things that is actually missing is like, okay, it's cool, they use a strong loyalty currency, but on the other side, we're there explaining them, hey, maybe you do a campaign like this, maybe you do this. By the way, do you have it at your point of sales? Did you look at your data? Did you see you have here more earn and less redemption? Do you want to push that side or the other way around? And I think right now we're doing that manually, and it's good because we learn a lot, right? But that could be easily done with an AI loyalty manager, yes, which literally real-time analyzes your data, gives you feedback. You can tell the manager how much feedback do you want. You want it daily, weekly, monthly. And through that, actually getting a huge amount of insights and then helping on the execution, because giving the insights is one thing, but executing on the insights, yes, is actually 80% of the work. So that's where we think AI can also play a really important role, because it can actually help out execute then on those insights and say, okay, for this insight we can use a newsletter. I'll write it directly, and I know exactly which customers I need to send it to because I have your whole list. So that's, I think, where the whole let's say game will go, and of course brands that don't focus and don't invest right now in that, I think will lose over time.
Absolutely. And I think this is where speed
100%.
Matters so much, because these are really important actions and activities, but they're not necessarily, I mean, if you're an airline, your tech team probably has some other priorities.
Yes.
And you guys solve that problem. Yeah. We could keep talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
But I think we're out of time. So Gabriele from Qiibee, founder and CEO, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Great to talk with you as always. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks a lot.